Okay. Hi. Sorry, my video is running a little late. We had staff meeting. Okay, so I'm going to try to expedite matters as quick as possible. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, we are looking at Redbook 3.6, page 134, even. Okay, so when we take a look at this, they ask us to determine if it's greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, so here we have feet comparing to centimeters. We want to see which is more, 1 foot or 1 centimeter. Now, logically, you have a centimeter ruler and you just have 1 centimeter to a foot. Logically, you would conclude that a foot is larger than 1 centimeter. But for mathematical purposes, let's see exactly how much. Now, 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. Okay, so if that's 1 inch, let's imagine if we had 12 of them. Okay, if we had 12 of them, then we would conclude that with a cross cancel, we can break this down that 12 inches, 12 times the 2.54 is equivalent to 30 centimeters. Okay, but we only have one. So since it's not 30 centimeters or greater, okay, then we know that 1 foot is greater than 1 centimeter. So here we are. Okay, now let's take a look at our next one. We have 30 inches compared to 30 millimeters. Well, 1 inch is 25 and 4/10 millimeters. So now we want to know, how about 30 of them? Okay, so here we could cross cancel again, and we would discover that 30 centimeters is actually 30 inches is equivalent to 762 millimeters. Well, we only have 30. So 30 inches is greater than 30 millimeters. So therefore, here we go again. Okay? Now, here we have a foot compared to kilometers. Okay? So 1 foot is equivalent to 3/10,000ths of a meter in kilometers. So what we would do, because we have 1 foot, then let's compare to what it would be if we had 100 feet. Well, when we cross multiply, then we find that this would be 0.03. So 100 feet is equivalent to 3/100ths of a kilometer. And we have 100 kilometers. So therefore, 100 kilometers will be greater than 100 feet. Okay? Now, let's take a look. Here we have 3 miles compared to how many kilometers? Okay, we're going to remember in our procedure in class this morning, step 1 is to get our conversion ratio. Step 2 is to set up the proportion. Okay, step 3 is to cross cancel or cross multiply, and step 4 is to solve. Okay, so that's how you would do that. So let's take a look at number 10. First of all, we need to get our conversion from miles to kilometers. Okay, and we established that 1 mile is equivalent to 1.6 kilometers. All right, so 1 mile, 1.6 kilometers. Okay, that's our conversion ratio. Now let's set up our proportion. Here we know how many miles we want to convert to, which is 3, but we don't know the equivalent of the kilometers. So we put an X there. So now we're going to cross multiply, okay? And here X times 1 will give us our X, and therefore 3 times our 1.6 is 4.8, and therefore 4.8 becomes our equivalent or proportion. It's late, forgive me. Anyway, moving forward, let's move on here. We have kilograms here to pounds. We know that 1 pound is equivalent to 4,500 kilograms. That's our conversion. Now that we have our conversion, let's set up our proportion, okay? Here we have 68 kilograms. So 1 pound, we have 68 kilograms, and then we solve, okay? So we need to cross cancel, and therefore we have 68 kilograms is equal to 4,500 X, okay? Now we take our calculator, and we're going to solve for X. And so therefore we take 68 and divide it by 0.45, and we have 151.11 is equal to X, and that's what goes here. Okay, that was number 12. Okay, now let's look at number 14. Number 14, we have pounds to kilograms again. So here we go. 1 pound is equal to 0.45 kilograms. All right, to set up our proportion, we don't know our kilograms, but we know we have 25 and 5/10 pounds. Okay, we're going to do our cross multiplication here, and we're going to discover that 0.45 times 25.5, all right, and we have 11.475 kilograms, okay? 11.475, okay? All right. Now, let's move forward. On number 16, they ask us to identify the error. It says describe and correct the error in using a ratio, okay? So let's look at it. Here we have miles to kilometers, okay? And here we have the kilometers, in this case, which it will convert to being in the numerator, okay? And so right there, we recognize the error, all right? We do not have our kilometers in the same location where we set up our proportion. If we have miles to kilometers, then it is miles to kilometers, okay? And so therefore, the 1.6 kilometers mile is not the other way around, okay? So we should have it so that we have our, if the kilometers is in our numerator here, then the kilometers will be in our numerator here. So you should flip that, and then therefore you can get the correct answer. So that's the error. They asked us to identify the error. They did not ask us to solve. Okay, so let's move forward. Number 18, we have kilometers to miles. And according to our conversion, that is 1 mile to 1.6 kilometers. So then let's set it up. If we have 1 mile to 1.6 kilometers. Then in this case, we don't know the miles, but we do know we have 2 kilometers. Okay, so we would cross cancel so that 2 kilometers is equal to 1.6 x, and so we take our 2 and we are going to divide it by 1.6, and we have x is equal to 1.25. Okay, all right, and that is number 18. All right, so now let's move on to number 20. We have pounds to kilograms. So our pounds, we have 1 pound to 0.45 kilograms. Okay, and therefore we set up our proportion. We know we have 85 pounds, but we do not know the kilograms. Okay, so we take our 85, okay, and we take the 85 and we multiply it by 0.45, and we have 38.25 for number 20. Okay, so that 38.25 kilograms. All right, now we are looking at liters to quarts. Okay, we have 1 quart to 0.95 liters. Okay, that's our conversion ratio. Now let's set up our proportion so that we don't know the quarts, but we do know the liters, 0.95 liters. Okay, and so with that in mind, we want to cross multiply, and then therefore we will have 0.95 is equal to 0.95x. Divide both sides by 0.95, and we should have 1 quart for number 22. Oops, I put 95 twice. I should have used 14. My bad. Let's take a look at it. Our setup is right. I just used the wrong numbers. You should have yelled a little louder. Okay, so here we go. The liters is 14.2, and we don't know the quarts. Okay, so now we're going to cross cancel to 14.2. Okay, is equal to 0.95x. So let's take a look at that. All right, so that 14.2 divided by 0.95, and we get 14.95. We're going to round that up. Okay, now let's take a look at 24. 24, you have a picture of an iguana. He happens to be 24 and 7/10 centimeters long. We want to know how many inches is that. So when we look at our conversion, 1 inch to centimeters, we set up our ratio, conversion ratio, 1 to 2.54 centimeters. All right, and so now we do not know the inches, but we know that it's 24.7 centimeters, and so we cross cancel so that we have 2.54x is equal to 24.7. All right, and so now we're going to take 24.7 and divide it by 2.54, and we have 9.72 inches. Okay, now we're back to our greater than, less than, like when we started in the first part of our lesson. Here I've already set up the conversion for you. Here in this case we have 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. So if we have 12 inches,